More!
Lunch break!
We just got back from Hawaii. I think when you watch this, it might have been a few weeks already. It was a lot of fun. We did activities, we hiked, we went to the beach, we ate a lot of good food.
I gained like 6 pounds.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, I gained 6 pounds.
I'm eating salad right now, that's why.
We did all these things that would have been really nice to share with someone. Maybe I could have met someone there.
Ooh.
But then it would be long distance once I fly back.
Have you guys ever been in a long distance relationship?
I currently am in one.
Oh.
Same.
I have been in multiple long distance relationships and they're tough. So whoever's in one, props to you guys.
I've never been in one. I definitely don't think I could ever
Wait, you've never been in
handle one? No, I could not handle it. Let's first try to define what a long distance relationship is.
I would say longer than an hour commute.
That's long distance?
I think so.
Just driving an hour?
All these-
I think
An hour, hour and a half.
All these international long distance relationship people are like shaking their head at you right now.
not even
I'll
like,
say
not
an
even
hour and a
international,
half.
like just even people just like across the country would be like, that's easy.
No, I feel like I've said this before, but I think the length of a movie is a good amount of time. It's like you can either watch a movie or drive to your significant other, right?
Oh, is that your grade? For me, if you have to get on a plane, if you have to get onto something other than driving.
Wait, but then let's say, because we're in SoCal, let's say NorCal, that you don't have to get on a plane. You could drive 5.5 hours.
But that's...
And you can fly from like Santa Monica to Burbank.
So,
In the end, it comes down to distance. That's what it's called, long distance. So the longer the distance,
the harder it is.
the harder it is. But because people are different and require different needs from each other, then it's different. If some people are super needy but really close, that could feel like a really long distance relationship.
Yeah.
What is the longest distance that you've been?
when me and my girlfriend first started dating, we were about 3 hours apart. But now I live in LA, which is like 2 to 2.5 hours, so it's shorter distance. But from the start, we were, I guess, long distance. It makes it inconvenient to like see each other. Like we can't have dinner every night.
Even though it's supposed to be about distance, it's about how far it feels.
FOMO, it's FOMO.
It's FOMO.
Oh yeah, get used to that.
Long distance relationship is really FOMO relationship. So what's the longest you've been?
So back in college, there was a moment where my girlfriend at the time, she was studying abroad. And that was like 6 months where she was in Shanghai and I was in Boston. That was tough.
What was the toughest part?
Scheduling like Skype dates, you have to also factor in like polar opposite time zones.
Yeah.
So one will be staying up really late or the other person has to get up really early. So that was probably the furthest. But like currently, it's in the same time zone, much better to manage that one.
It's like the long distance relationship starter pack, I would say. Because you suffer all the inconveniences, but it's not like I'm gonna die. Like when am I gonna see them again? And I think the pitfalls are people, they think they have that one moment to see each other, so they plan everything out, which is great for some dates, but sometimes you need to just go there and just be with them and not have everything planned out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of expectations. You know, making that trip to go there, if they're not on the same page, then someone's gonna get hurt. And it really all comes down to communication. Let's go through some pros and cons.
So the going off of what Wes said, because you're seeing each other for like short periods of time and then also set times of the year.
It's more efficient.
It's not only more efficient, but there's like a novelty component to it. It's always like a honeymoon phase.
Are you saying that people in regular relationships aren't like have boring relationships?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see each other every day.
There's a very scary part of that though. Can you imagine like when you guys do have an argument and it's like, we're wasting our time, we only have this one weekend once a month, why are we arguing?
Okay. You're right.
So wait. So have you actually been in a long distance?
No, I've had arguments about time efficiency.
So
In person.
So another pro is 2 places. So you have a reason to explore a new someone else's home. And it becomes like
A second home.
Yeah, I think that exploration is really fun.
So the con to that is,
But the con
The con to that is when you're not with them, it slowly becomes their home. When you go there, it's still new to you.
Oh, so you might be really excited to see something and they'll be like, oh no, that's not that cool.
Yeah, that's one extreme. Yeah.
there's also like the hesitation to want to experience something new like by yourself.
Yeah.
It's like when like
Yes.
movies come out or when like you want to go check out a restaurant, like you have to wait for the other to like go out and experience that together.
But going back to the pros, I remember when you were in one of your long distance relationships, and you were feeling down about it. I remember trying to like encourage you and saying like, hey, this is a pro. You save a lot of money. Imagine if you saw your girlfriend every day, how many meals that is that you guys have to share, right? Or how, that you might have to pay for,
But-
you're the boyfriend.
But I want to spend that money on her.
I'm just saying.
I think it balances out with
It
the
balances
travel
out.
costs.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because when I was with her, I was very okay, like kind of splurging,
But a pro is you gotta rack up mileage.
which I didn't do.
Points. Flight miles are good, but car miles are not.
Okay, so this is gonna sound really ridiculous, but like I think the longest I've had to do was like a 45-minute drive. There were times where it's like, oh, like it's gonna take so long to get.
Well, see that's why
I'm so spoiled.
that's why I feel like communication is better when it's long distance because
No, I think that depends incredibly.
No, it
on
can
the
get
person.
worse. It can get
Yeah.
better.
Well, that's
Okay.
great. That
I think
good that you say that,
I
yeah.
think in my case,
It gets better.
it is because I'm very open about like my calendar, what I've got going on, and she wakes up really early,
Right.
has to go to bed early because of her job. I choose to wake up earlier so we can like kind of align our schedules. So like
Goals.
I'll do that. So like we're at
Dang.
least falling asleep around the same time, waking up early.
Do you guys do that? No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
And
No,
you-
it's more like
and
no,
you
you
realize,
hang up now.
you realize they did 5 minutes ago.
Because I fell asleep.
You do that. No, you hang up. Oh, you didn't hang up either. You didn't hang up either. I have an imaginary, what I imagine would be a pro. Like your girlfriend feels new all the time.
Let's say the relationship feels new.
But you can say that. You can say that if she has like multiple
New
personalities.
girlfriend.
Like it always feels fresh. The feeling of longing, I think, is
Yeah.
actually very important. You want the feeling of missing someone and then to be satisfied. Even in non-distance relationships, like you should always feel like, oh, like you want to see that person. And that you miss them.
Non-distance relationship. Is that you made that up?
Non-distance?
I
Non-distance.
just made that up. Non-distance relationship is when people live together.
One of the pros is that both people get to do more independent things, and they get to figure out themselves more, having like I guess separate social life, social circles.
You're right. You could see that as a pro or a con, but like I agree that it's generally better to not build your life around someone,
Yeah.
and that you're building it for yourself first, right?
There is a time and place to keep it separate, but you need to bring them into your world. Like both people need to share their world,
Yeah.
or else there's gonna be resentment and there's gonna be trust issues.
So, along the lines of the trust issues, obviously one big con is not always knowing like what they're up to. Who's Steve? Why do you keep hanging out with Steve?
You mean Kristen?
What are you guys doing here? Not now, Steve! It's Chris.
Have you guys dealt with that, and how have you dealt with that?
In my case, no. I think
Ben's is like, who would give up on this?
right. But no, I think it's because in my case we started long distance, so I think to both of us it would be like it wouldn't be worth it, you know, like trying to maintain that when there's the chance of somebody else.
You have to go back and think about like, why are you with this person? You're with them because you like these things, you share core principles, and you have to really build everything off that.
So have you dealt with it before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the end, it's like, well, you know what? She chose to be with me, so I have to believe in that. And it's not easy. One of the most heartbreaking things to say and to hear in long distance is, wish I was there. Like that,
Oh.
like those words, like saying it, like really hurts, and then also hearing it really hurts. Knowing that this is the most you can do to share that moment, just saying wish I was there is like, it's so tragic.
I think that this whole thing kind of also goes back to like when they need the physical intimacy or they need comfort, not intentionally, but they'll whatever's around them, they'll seek comfort in that way because there's people, just people. Also, like when we need comfort or we need someone to like say something and tell us these things that sometimes isn't there.
I imagine like
Keep touching.
the other thing that you brought up there that we didn't say was a con, but like the intimacy. I mean,
Yeah, you can't.
can we talk about that on lunch break? Like,
Well, I mean,
that
yeah.
sucks.
I mean, it just becomes a new form of whatever.
Oh, new forms.
You have to find new forms of being intimate with each other.
Yeah, there's all sorts of technology nowadays.
Technology is great. Technology is really great. Actually, speaking of long distance relationships, there's a movie called Everything Before Us.
Well, actually, I don't know if that's the best example.
No. I'll tell you this. In that movie, it's a very, very real depiction. And I'd say watch it because it's our movie, and also watch it because you'll get a taste of what it's like. Advices.
Okay.
All the advices right now.
I would say communication and planning, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But then also you need to plan, like having time not planning, because planning becomes too.
You should never give advice, Spencer.
I would say yeah, just like put in the extra effort to communicate and like set a time to communicate, right?
I think if it requires you to go the extra mile or to put in the effort, instead of expecting it from the other person, I think you should still do it. And you should try and seek all the positive aspects of the relationship, like why are we together? So putting those extra efforts there.
All the efforts. I would say be flexible and know that what's enough to you isn't enough to them all the time. If you're in a relationship that becomes long distance, it's a new relationship. You're gonna find out things you like and you don't like, and you have to be flexible. The stuff we're saying applies to long distance or not. Like these ideas of communicating and being flexible, like this goes across all.
That's what I was
all
about to say,
relationships.
yeah.
When it lasts and when it works out, it's the best story.
Do it for the gram story. What's up, guys? We're in a long distance relationship. Swipe. What's up, guys? We made it!
Don't do that.
All right, so we want to hear from you guys. In the comments below, tell us your long distance stories. We want to know how far, so like the distance, and also how long you've been doing it.
Back to lunch.
All right, thanks guys. Lunch breaks every Thursday. Get your lunch break shirts, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.